Hello, my Bulldog gang. This is Kate from AnyBulldog.com. A couple months ago, we had Daisy spayed, and I just wanted to go through a few things really quick about what you can expect through that process. But first, we are going to talk about why we decided to have Daisy spayed. She had already had a litter of puppies, at least one that we know of. She was already 4 years old, so well, she's 5. She was already 5 years old, so why go through this process now? And there are a few reasons. I didn't notice any heat cycles in Daisy or any problems that way, so that wasn't one of our main reasons. She did have constant like dark red around her reproductive organs, but that wasn't a big deal. Her heat cycles were not a big deal. I never even could point out a heat cycle in the couple years that we've owned her. She has a lot of aggressive behaviors towards other dogs, not towards humans. She's all bark and no bite towards humans, but other dogs, she was very, very aggressive towards. And we worked really hard to socialize her, and I know her other families had worked to socialize her too. It just wasn't working out with other dogs. So that was one reason. Another big reason, this was probably the tipping point, is she would mount our young children and begin humping them, which is 100% not okay. That is not okay. It would scare them, it would hurt them, and we had to put an end to it. And we tried trying to teach her that that wasn't okay, but it wasn't quite getting through to her. And one of the other reasons is it prevents cancer, and bulldogs already have a higher rate of cancers. It's one of the main reasons bulldogs die. So we thought, let's just keep her as healthy as possible. Now, some people might argue that spaying or neutering your dog is inhumane, and so that is a decision that you will have to make. We are teaching them to suppress these natural inborn behaviors, and that's kind of inhumane too, to punish them for only acting out on what is coming naturally to them. These are natural behaviors. So that's kind of a decision that you'll have to weigh yourself and do what you feel is best for your dog and your family. Having Daisy spayed is what I feel was best for our family, so that's why we went ahead and did it. So these are the 3 things that surprised me after her surgery was over. The first is that managing Daisy's pain was way easier than I thought. I thought she might be out for a couple days. We had this whole bottle of doggy ibuprofen, and I was like, oh great, I'm gonna be trying to like shove this down her throat for a while. But really, I think I gave her 1 dose of ibuprofen, and that was it. Like, she did great. So if you're worried about how hard it might be to manage your dog's pain, I'd say I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think they'll be okay. I mean, Daisy's she's a tough dog, but at the same time, she's also kind of prissy, and but she did great. She did great. The aftercare was so easy. The second thing, and I don't know why this surprised me, but I was like, oh, Daisy doesn't need to wear a cone because bulldogs can't reach that incision anyways. It was super simple, no cone. So if you're worried about your bulldog reaching their incision site and you're thinking about getting one of those puff up collars that's a little bit more comfortable than the cone of shame, I wouldn't waste your money with a bulldog, because they're too big and too wide and too awkward and squishy and cute to reach down to their private parts to lick and scratch them and hurt their incisions. So there's that. The third thing that surprised me is that it did not change her aggressive or mounting behaviors in the least. She was still just aggressive, and she was still mounting our children, which I had to do a lot of research on. And what I found was that this is a sign of play for bulldogs. They are just showing like, hey, I'm here to play. And I noticed that she did this when my kids were roughhousing. She wouldn't just come up to them randomly when they were sitting calmly. No, she wanted to play too. So we had to teach our kids like, hey, when you are roughhousing, you can't do it around Daisy. We also had to be a little bit more firm with Daisy and say, hey, this behavior is not okay. We had to discipline her, and thankfully that behavior has stopped, but it did take a while. So if your dog is mounting, even if they're spayed or neutered, just know it's a sign of play, and maybe teach them, no, that's not how we play. Stop it right away and take them aside and say no. Be firm but calm with your Bulldog. And then after they have, you know, had their little moment, get out a toy and play with them and teach them the right way to play. That's what we did with Daisy, and this behavior has seemed to have been corrected. But we did teach our kids too, hey, if you're roughhousing, you got to take it out. You got to take it out, because Daisy doesn't understand what you're doing and she wants to play too, and this is how she wants to play. So that's what we learned. Those are the 3 things that surprised me: pain management, no need for a cone, and it might not stop that aggressive behavior. It might be something that you have to work on with your dog personally and be really diligent about, because we all know how stubborn Bulldogs are. So really quick too, before I go, we had Daisy spayed through a Snip Clinic, which is a low-cost spay and neuter clinic, and it was about 1/3 of the cost, probably more than, it probably was 1/4 of the cost of what we would have paid at Daisy's vet. So I'm going to step you through that process really quickly. You have to go to the Snip Clinic website, make sure you have one close enough to you. You will just pick it. They'll have their days and times right there on their site, and you pick what's going to be best for you. And then you fill out all of your dog's information and they will send you emails. What surprised me was, like, I never talked to an actual human through this whole process. And I was like, are we good here? So after I filled that out, I got some more information. I filled everything out online. I brought Daisy in. The dogs come in one at a time. You fill out, and then they give you a time to come and pick your Bulldog up. So that's that. They bring your dog to the door. They try to keep the dogs separated so there's no kind of confrontations with the dogs. And it was great. I was actually really, really impressed. And they clipped Daisy's fingernails. They clipped Daisy's toenails. They took great care of her. So I will be posting videos every week, every Tuesday from here on out. So be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any more Bulldog tips. Talk to you later. Bye.